Sri Lanka Design Festival is all about design, promoting creativity from Sri Lanka to the rest of the world.
Sri Lanka Design Festival started in 2009, so this is the third year. And all 3 years it's been hosted by the Mount Lavinia Hotel.
I think originally it was going to be called the Colombo Design Festival, but Linda being Linda, it grew quite quickly and soon changed to becoming the Sri Lankan Design Festival.
It covers what we are very, very strong at, which is sustainable design, and that is what the industry is trying to do and is doing very well, and it's very unique here.
It embraces the traditional crafts and the traditional artisanship in Sri Lanka. Doing so, it actually works with the communities in the rural areas, and it actually, through the collaboration with the Academy of Design, embraces this, and then they work with the artisans to put a more commercial angle to the products that are already there and all the skills that are already there to create development in the rural areas.
The Design Festival has grown exponentially. It's now become a very serious Southeast Asia design event.
So we start with the apparel industry, the fashion shows.
There's 5 shows in all that we produce.
This season it's become a bigger event, much more emphasis on the crafts. That show was a lot bigger this year and there was a lot more involvement with the AOD.
Like design itself, the Design Festival continues to evolve. It's a very live, changeable feast really. And this year it consists of a range of fashion shows. There's an industry show which highlights the work of a very, very substantial garment industry, apparel industry in Sri Lanka. There's been the Academy show, particularly highlighting the work that the Academy does with the industry.
The Academy Design is a design school in the centre of Colombo. This year we've celebrated 10 years of the Academy, and instead of doing graduation shows, we've presented work which is specifically our collaborations with industry and our collaborations with craftsmen and heritage crafts within the country.
I think the students' work is a really, really high standard. I also think they're incredibly lucky that they have a fashion industry in Sri Lanka, and I think the collaborative projects have been a fantastic learning curve for both the students and for the companies.
And then there's been the craft show, which is the Sri Lankan designers specifically working with craftspeople in Sri Lanka. What has been just joyous about this festival is not just the fact that we've been able to highlight that craft, but we've actually been bringing the artisans in from as far afield as Trincomalee and Jaffna and Dondra Point. I mean, literally the furthest points of Sri Lanka.
It's just extraordinary seeing what they've done, and even more extraordinary, I think, for them coming to watch the fashion show and see their knits in action on these incredible Sri Lankan and Italian models we have.
And it was incredibly impressive because they'd been on a bus overnight and they all looked absolutely beautiful in these very brightly coloured and often sequin saris. And just to see them, they were obviously so proud of what they'd done and so proud to be here. It was absolutely beautiful. And I think it's really important for them to engage with it. And then if somebody can actually say to them, do you realise that this may be able to be sold abroad and there will be more money for them, which is fantastic.
The stage was amazing this year. I think the standard though actually here is amazing, and I think that it's waiting to become a fashion capital really. I think the craftsmanship and the work's here so much that I think it really needs to have a little step on the ladder now.
Then we have the craft exhibition, which is the second craft exhibition. We had one last year, but this year we've taken it one step further and we've covered every region and identified each region.
And every area has its own specialities. The exhibition was actually curated east, north, west and south, so represents Sri Lanka from that perspective.
I'm very aware that Sri Lanka is moving very fast and that we have all the disciplines at the school that we need to present, but apart from that we also like to encourage people from the outside to participate in workshops. So we've put on workshops for students who possibly would never be able to take part in these kind of workshops, graphic workshops, interior workshops, photography workshops, fashion workshops. We've had international delegates, local specialists working with the students from the outside and also our own students.
New for this year has been the Southeast Asia Apparel Leaders Conference. So Sri Lanka has seen the arrival of some enormously influential chairmen and CEOs and managing directors of very large, very important and very ethical garment manufacturers. So it's a concentration of a very special group of people.
The sustainability agenda is so prevalent and has been for a long time. It's something that the world needs to know. So having people coming here is the perfect way of actually getting that message across. The international delegation that comes down to have a look at the industry, not only here but also from a business perspective. So there's business-to-business meetings, there's factory visits, so that actually the industry gains hopefully business through this event as well.
Obviously everybody is very aware of the whole greenwash thing, that people say one thing and then don't necessarily do it. I can only speak from the experience of one factory, which plainly was absolutely what it said it was, because they had sort of huge computerised systems where it's all up on screens and you can see it's all going on while you're there, and sort of such things, if the temperature suddenly changes, becomes perhaps higher than it should, then rather than perhaps boost the air conditioning, they'll open some shutters, louvers, to let some fresh air in. It obviously was very genuine. They're all trying their best to go that way, and I think it does seem to be a bit of a given here, and that is a very good selling point for them. Consumers all around the world will almost expect clothes to be made in a sustainable manner, because obviously there's no alternative for the future.
The industry has really understood that design is extremely important for the country, financially and also in order to build their own businesses.
But in 2 years we've gone from pretty much nothing to a complete supply chain from raw materials to a customer base. So it's a really extraordinary achievement, I think.
I think that Sri Lanka Design Festival has been a great success this year.
What Sri Lanka has, which is incredibly important, is the fact that they have very high-tech technology and also the low-tech handcrafts that are still very, very much part of the heritage of the country and have not been spoilt. So having those two things and trying to put it together along with education in a festival is quite amazing.
What's happening here is very special. It's moving very, very fast, and the potential is spectacular.